let's take a look at our top selections for the... Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer, taking a look at the feature race at Belmont Park on Sunday, October the 25th. It's a really nice competitive race. We'll throw up the field for the Grade 3 Athenia Stakes. We're on the inner turf, going 1 mile and a 16th. We're expecting a little bit of wet weather this weekend in New York, Mike. This turf course could come up soft, and it could be an important handicapping factor.
Yeah, I mean, it always is when, you get a little rain and the turf course is anything less than firm. Aside from just, handicapping the contenders just based on form, you also have to sort of factor in who you think will handle the conditions and who won't.
But as you can see from David Aragona's morning line, this race is wide open, sweet by and by. The ever so slight morning line favorite at 3-1 over Call Me Love for Christophe Clement. Call Me Love dropping out of the Diana. I wouldn't be surprised if she goes off favorite.
I mean, I can certainly see that. But yeah, it sort of handicaps the way that I think David laid out the line. I mean, I think there are cases to be made for a lot of different horses. And, the filly or mare who shows up with their best race and gets the right trip might just be the right horse, whoever that may be. But you're right. Call Me Love could certainly be favored. She's faced some top class competitions that she got over here.
Let's throw up the Timeform US pace projector. There are 2 horses in here that I think will make the running. I think Timeform US is the right 2. I don't think they have them perhaps in the right order. I do think Mitchell Road breaking from the inside post. If she breaks, I think she's going to make the lead. And I think Sweet By and By will be more than happy to concede and sit second.
I thought they were the right 2 to be, forwardly placed in this race. Whether, one or the other is on the lead, I don't know. But they're both certainly fast enough to get there if they want it. Maybe it just comes down to that inside post position, Dan, for Mitchell Road. She has the rail advantage, and maybe she'll use it.
She also has Louis Sai as a very, very aggressive rider who put her on the front in the race we're going to take a look at right now. The ladies' turf at Kentucky Downs over yielding ground. Mitchell Road cuts the corner with the lead. We're also going to see a contender in this race. Tap It Today is the gray for Chad Brown. And Tap It Today was saved in ground at the back of the pack. And this race was dominated up front, Mike, by Mitchell Road and Regal Glory. And I think all things considered, Tap It Today came with a really nice run as the only horse running at the end of the race at the top 2.
Yeah, I agree. I thought Tap It Today actually ran a very underrated race in there, considering the trip that she got. And listen, I thought Mitchell Road ran fine in there, Dan. She did what she likes to do. She likes to get out there and set or contest the pace. She managed to do that. And she was very game through the stretch. She just came out second best to a good horse. Mitchell Road's a factor in this race. There's no doubt about it.
Belmont had entered her in turf sprint. I think she's just better in these middle distance races where she can certainly use her fine tactical speed. You'll know her early. She'll likely be in contention turning into the stretch, and she certainly has races good enough to win, as does Call Me Love. She has not won since shipping in from overseas, but boy, has she given it a couple of good tries. Second to Rushing Fall in the Bogey, second to Starship Jubilee in the Ballston Spa. Rushing Fall right now is the favorite for the Breeders' Cup Filly and Mare Turf. Starship Jubilee won the Woodbine Mile against males in her most recent effort. Last time out in the Diana, she just really didn't fire against Rushing Fall. This class relief should help.
Yeah, it certainly feels, I mean, this is a good field anyway, but this is actually significant class relief for this filly, Dan. And it's also, I guess, worth noting that the 2 times that they've run her this distance and she's arrived in Christophe Clement's barn, paired up 99 buyers in those 2 races and ran well both times. Listen, I feel like she's the kind of filly who makes a lot of sense in this race. I personally can't say that, I'm blown away by any of her performances. To me, the only thing to really like about her is just the fact that she's, stacked up at least fairly well a couple of times against some really good horses. But other than that, I don't know. I'm just not really thrilled with her. I felt like there was a chance she would be the favorite. And for that reason, I just sort of wanted to look elsewhere.
Clement also has Feel Glorious, and I know you're a fan of this horse. You scored out on her 2 starts back in the Perfect Sting at Saratoga going this distance. What happened last time, though, in the Noble Damsel? Is it simply a case where maybe she's just not a graded stakes winning filly at the moment? It looked like there was some pace for her to run at, and she just didn't kick.
There was certainly a lot of pace in that race. They went very fast in front of her. So you would feel like that would help her, Dan. Personally, when I look at the race, I feel like she was very badly compromised in there because she didn't break from the gate. She came out of the gate very slow. She was outrun early in that race. And then, rather than, taking up some kind of position, at least within range of the leaders, she was far back and just had to make a long, wide run into that race. And I just personally don't think that's her best running style. Yes, she's a closer. She's a horse who wants to sit and make one run into a race. But she's actually much better served if she can break with the field and just sort of get a position within range, because she only has one run in her. I don't think you can, try to make a big, long run with this filly. I just don't think she has it in her. She wants to be at least, close to the leaders when they come to the stretch, and then she wants to fire her shot from there. And I think if she gets that kind of trip, she could rebound pretty quickly in this race.
Well, she certainly does have that tactical gear. She's shown it in the past, and she is one of the fillies in this race that would benefit, I believe, from a wet turf course. She won over yielding ground last year and did so nicely in the Winter Memories. Story time, the force 30-1 on the morning line, and yes, she is a little bit of a reach. She's making her third start of the year for an extremely underrated barn, but there are a lot of class questions that she has to answer, and she just caught a tough field for a grade 3.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I mean, it just feels like maybe they were her connections were entering here just to see what kind of field shaped up for this kind of race. And as it turns out, it just come up a lot stronger than your typical grade 3, and it just makes things really hard on a filly like her.
The 5 all T for Chad Brown at 6-1's the kind of mare you want to own, and not necessarily the mare you want to bet to win, because she finds ways to lose races. You just look at her record. She's 2 for 22, 8 runner-up efforts, and I just couldn't find the excuse in the Violet. We'll watch that later when we talk about She's Got You, her stablemate. I thought she had a great trip. It says weighted at the quarter pole. She sat the pocket. She split horses. She had her chance. She got beat again.
Yeah, it was just kind of more of the same. I mean, she has some real ability, Dan. She can certainly go with horses like this. But it just feels like if everything doesn't go absolutely perfect for her, she's not going to win. And even when it does go perfect with her, sometimes she's still not going to win. She's good enough to beat this field for sure. And if she's, around that 6 or 8-1 and you want to give her one more chance, be my guest, but I'm not betting this horse.
Tony Dutro's done a fine job with the 6 Sweet By and By. And let's watch her last race, the Noble Damsel that we discussed earlier. There was a fast pace. She was prompting it in second. She's going after Blowout, the pace setter. She's going to battle pretty gamely down to the wire. Now, I don't know about you, Mike. I'm a little disappointed she didn't get past Blowout at the end of this race. But it's hard to argue her consistency from a Beyer speed figure standpoint, from a top 3 finish standpoint, and she's going to likely get another good trip sitting off with a pace, and they won't be going as fast this time around. I can't imagine them going fast as they did last time.
No, I agree with that. Yeah, I mean, listen, Blowout is one of those fillies, Dan. It feels like she never wins, but man, she really does have some real talent. And so the fact that Sweet By and By couldn't get by her in the Noble Damsel, she did get by her 1 start prior to that in that allowance race at Saratoga, where they went a much easier pace. Sweet By and By tracked Blowout and then ran her down through the stretch. I liked that performance. I thought she ran fine last time. It didn't make me want to bet her back as the favorite in this race, Dan, but I do want to use her.
She's Got You has been handled, I think, very well by Chad Brown. She came off of a very long layoff. Chad found an optional claiming spot for her. She ran a little bit at the end of that race. And then Chad incrementally stepped her up in class, ran her against Altea in the Violet. We're going to watch that race right now. And she was steadied a little bit passing the stands the first time, and she's in last. She's angling to the far outside right now. You'll see Altea in those black silk split horses. She saved ground every step. I thought Joe Bravo did a very good job getting this horse into the race without losing too much ground on the second turn, and She's Got You's going to get her nose down in the shadow of the wire.
Yeah, she ran pretty well in that race, I thought. I also felt like she ran well in her first start over here back in June in that allowance race. I thought that was a pretty good starting off point for her. She obviously ran just as well last time. To be honest, Dan, I could go either way on this filly. I think there's a chance she turns out to be pretty good, and I won't be surprised if she runs well here. But this is actually a good field. And I don't know if 4-1's the right price. That's what David made her on the morning line. And if that's the price she goes off at, I'm just going to look elsewhere, because I think there were too many better horses in this race who would be better prices than her.
One of them might be Tapit today as we take a look at our top selections for this race. We saw her with a rallying third last time out, and she saved ground at the back of the pack while Mitchell Road got forward. She then had to go all the way around, as you saw in the video in the stretch. We've always liked Tapit today. We've kind of been chasing her. I liked to race in the Matchmaker. I thought she ran fine in the Swanee River. It just feels like she's going to get a spot, and I think this distance is perfect for her. Heck, she's 3 for 3 at a mile.
Yeah, all
Not a
those
16.
things are what led me to, yeah, all those things are what led me to put her on top in this race, Dan. I mean, she seemed like she was cut out to be a good horse early on, and for whatever happened to her, she missed a ton of time before she came back. And I actually feel like she's run really well in all of her races since she came back from that long layoff. We saw the race last time where it felt like she was compromised. Certainly, she was compromised in the Matchmaker two back, where for whatever reason they decided to go after a fast pace early in there and set it up for the closers. I just feel like she's a little dirtied up coming into this race, and at the price that she projects to be, I want to bet her.
Well, she is 6-1 on David's morning line, and if you get that price, I think that is more than fair. It's so tough to make a line for this race. I wonder if the morning line odds of the 8 and the 7, our top two picks, are flip-flopped at post time, simply because Tapit Today does at least have the graded stakes experience. She does have experience over a wet turf course. She's got news hopping up into a graded stakes race after a stakes win at Monmouth. I agree with you. I think if she's got you goes off at where David has her projected, she's too short. I think 6-1 is fair for her. I would play her at that price. I'm worried about a yielding turf course. So we're both going with Chad. You're going 8-2-6-3. I'm going 7-5-1-8.
Yeah, I'm happy to give Tapit Today one more chance. That, as you mentioned, we've been chasing her a little bit. I've been a fan of hers for a while. I wound up putting Clement's horse, Call Me Love, second. I'm not going to be surprised when she wins, Dan. I'm just not really thrilled with her.
I kind of have the same feelings about her as you. I respect her ability. She has come up short in some races, and the excuse was she faced better horses last time. I just wish she did a little bit more in that race. The Grade 3 Athenia is Sunday's feature race at Belmont. It is a good one. And race number 9 is an approximate post of 4:55 Eastern. Best of luck.